Hello, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today we're looking at why rock and roll music is called rock and roll. The word roll has been used since the Middle Ages to refer to, among other things, having sex. For example, let's go for a roll in the hay or rolling under the sheets. The word rock, again, among other things, has been used at least since the 17th century as a term meaning shake or disturb. By the 19th century, this had also spread to black gospel singers using rock to refer to being shaken in a spiritual sense, as in a spiritual rapture, rocked. By the early 20th century, rock had evolved somewhat to being used as a slang term by black Americans referring to dancing to music with a strong beat, principally what we know today as rhythm and blues, at the time called race music or race records. Around this same time, these two terms, rock and roll, began being used together, forming a double entendre, typically referring to very suggestive or scandalous dancing, as well as simply having sex. One example of this can be found in the 1922 song My Man Rocks Me with One Steady Roll. Another early reference to the term rock and roll was in a 1935 J. Russell Robinson lyric from Henry Red Allen's Get Rhythm in Your Feet and Music in Your Soul. If Satan starts to hound you, commence to rock and roll, get rhythm in your feet and music in your soul. This finally brings us to why rock and roll music is called that. In the early 1950s, a Cleveland, Ohio disc jockey named Alan Freed on his show The Moondog Rock and Roll House Party played early forms of rock and roll and specifically called the music by that name, a phrase he was previously familiar with from race records and songs such as Rock and Rollin' Mama 1939 and Rock and Roll. There were 3 songs called that in the late 1940s. Freed was encouraged to call this mix of music rock and roll by his sponsor, record store owner Leo Mintz, who was trying to boost sales on race records by getting white shoppers to buy them. Race records weren't very popular at the time among white people, but by rebranding the music rock and roll, it quickly became extremely popular among teenagers of all ethnicities. And now for a bonus fact. A similar brand of music to rock and roll was rockabilly, which was a style of music that was a cross between country, rhythm, and blues, as was rock and roll, but leaned more heavily on the country side of things instead of the rhythm and blues side, and was played primarily by white musicians. The term itself is a portmanteau of rock from rock and roll and hillbilly. Popular rockabilly artists included Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash. Classic style race records, not mixed with country music, at this same time were in the process of being rebranded to rhythm and blues thanks to famed music journalist and producer Jerry Wexler. As for country music, this was originally called hillbilly music, but in the 1940s Ernest Tubb helped rebrand it. Tubb stated, "Hillbilly. That's what the press used to call it. Hillbilly music. Now, I always said, you can call me a hillbilly if you got a smile on your face." We let the record companies know that they were producing country music because we all come from the country. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There's a button on the screen as well as below this video now. Also, over there on the right, a couple of other videos you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one, and thank you for watching.